Welcome to Section 12.3. This is the 128th session of the CISSP Exam Prep Series. In this session, we'll manage the risk that comes with working from anywhere. We'll answer several questions. What does remote access actually mean? What are the main remote access techniques? What new risks does remote access invite? What belongs in a remote access security policy? And how do administrators use remote access to run the network itself? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because your network no longer stops at the office walls. Picture a design firm where staff log in from home, from cafes, and from airport lounges. Every one of those sessions extends your trusted network to a place you do not control. Managing that reach, without letting it become an open door, is one of your core duties. What does remote access actually mean? It is the ability of a distant client to open a communication session with your network. It takes many forms. Someone tunnels in over the internet through a VPN, connects to a wireless access point, or reaches a virtual desktop through a thin client. Others use remote desktop to a machine at the office, spin up a cloud-based virtual desktop, or dial a modem into a remote access server. In some of these, the client does the work locally. In others, all the computing happens on a central system, and the remote device is just a window. Picture a colleague reaching into the building through a long, secure hallway rather than walking through the front lobby. What are the main remote access techniques? Think of three broad patterns. Service-specific access lets a user reach just one service remotely, such as email, and nothing more. Remote control access hands a user full command of a distant machine, as if its monitor and keyboard were right in front of them. Remote node operation is when the client makes a direct connection to the LAN over VPN, wireless, or dial-up, and behaves like any other machine on the network. Picture three ways into a warehouse: a single delivery slot, a full drive-in bay, and a badge that makes you a regular on the floor. What new risks does remote access invite? It quietly erodes the value of your physical security. Once anyone can reach in from outside, locked doors matter less. Remote machines may be less secure, less patched, and easier to steal, and they can carry malware straight into the LAN. They are harder to troubleshoot and sometimes harder to update over slow links. So you set firm rules. Authenticate remote users stringently, grant access only to those whose work truly requires it, and protect every session with strong encryption for both the credentials and the data. Picture inviting guests into your home. The moment you hand out keys, the strength of your front door lock counts for far less. What belongs in a remote access security policy? 4 areas anchor it. First, the connectivity technology. Since cellular, DSL, cable, fiber, wireless, and satellite each carry their own weaknesses. Second, transmission protection, choosing encrypted paths like VPNs or TLS for the traffic itself. Third, authentication protection, securing the credentials with strong protocols, often a centralized system, and multi-factor authentication. Fourth, remote user support, because stranded users lose productivity or improvise unsafe workarounds. You also tightly control who may connect, filtering by identity, device, protocol, application, content, or time of day, and you ban unauthorized modems and rogue secondary connections. Picture a border checkpoint that inspects the road, the vehicle, the driver's papers, and offers help if something goes wrong. How do administrators use remote access to run the network itself? Remote access is not only for general staff. It is how administrators manage the infrastructure from off-site. They handle configuration management, pushing changes to routers, switches, and firewalls. They perform monitoring and analysis, watching metrics and logs for trouble. They do troubleshooting and diagnostics, run security management of policies and access controls, and take care of user account management. They also deliver software updates and patches, run backup and recovery, and enforce policy compliance across the estate. Each of these needs its own security requirements written into the organizational policy. Picture a building superintendent with a secure remote console that lets them run the whole facility without ever being on site. So let's bring it together. Remote access lets a distant client join your network, in forms from VPNs to virtual desktops to dial-up. Its techniques range from single service access to full remote control to remote node operation. It erodes physical security and drags in real risks, So you authenticate hard, limit who connects, and encrypt everything. A solid policy covers connectivity, transmission, authentication, and user support. And administrators lean on the same channel to run the network itself, which must be governed just as carefully. Extend your reach on purpose, never by accident. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.